trying, only crying, a time on due. Telling myself somehow we will make it through. I believe you and me, we're gonna be fine. You've been saying maybe we should just be friends. All this hope like knots of rope has made a mess in between everything that we had. We realized it wasn't all that bad. It's hard to believe that we're coming undone.
Well, unsurprisingly, we've been up to a whole lot of work here on the Lotus SMP. We also have a brand new server member, Scurvy, who I must say I'm very excited to meet. And we've also updated the server to Minecraft 1.21.4, meaning that we'll have to get our hands on some pale logs. But if I'm being honest, I'm hoping to do that with a bunch of other friends here on the Lotus SMP, so we're going to hold off on doing that at the moment. You can see that we've connected the pathways along the entire district, and by no means was this little work. I probably spent about 3 or 4 hours doing this, and so it was a lot of time spent. But now, as you can see on the map, the entire island is really starting to come together, or at least it has a lot more of that connectedness vibe that brings people together here on a server here like Lotus. Now, as you can see, we've terraformed up our sunflower field area to connect everything with Slip's terracotta to the leather shop and Draconis's base as well. And then we've gotten around to extending the farm as well over to one of Maddie's shops over here, and then to the rest of the shopping district, which our path curves around the slime wagon and then kind of meets up in the center, which interestingly happens to kind of be Draconis's base. I'm not sure if he had planned on doing that or not, where we have a really cute chocolate shop, which is something that I've never showed off before, and you can see that Draconis did a wonderful job selling different types of chocolate. We have normal chocolate and king-size chocolate, strawberry cream, chocolate chip cookies, a whole bunch of good things. And there happens to be a little merchant that's selling the bars, and unfortunately I have accidentally put my hoe right in his hands, meaning that although I was gonna buy some chocolate with the diamonds that I had, I'm already feeling more poor as soon as I happen to enter the shop. So we'll have to postpone that shopping experience for another day. But the path continues along down into the main shopping district along with the Nether HQ as well, which the Nether HQ is this beautiful house where we've been collecting resources to make a huge nether hub. We've talked about it before, so I won't go into the details, but I love this area, and the area has some really good sound dynamics in it as well. Dude, that thing is so loud. I can still hear it from here. But anyway, although we filled in a lot of the path area and we're really making the shopping district come together, we're not yet done with the pathing, which is something that I'm not sure if I'll be able to get done in this episode, but regardless, we're going to be doing even more work on it in this episode. I do want to come in here with some bone meal and fix up the grass just like we did along the river over here, and then maybe some lanterns and some other bits and bobs in the area too, which I think is really gonna bring the area together. And honestly, if it wasn't for my area over right here by Slip's Terracotta, it would be kind of hard to know that this was a mushroom island whatsoever. But here, on January 5th of the new year, we get back to work on making ourselves this path. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
There's a bed right here. Is that your spawn?
I was literally,
Sorry.
I don't know if you could hear me. I was just recording the, like, I'm gonna go into a cinematic, but the last word. The last word I get shot.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's so funny. But anyway, into the cinematic land we go. Well, we are flying back into the shopping district, and you can see that we have gotten a whole ton of progress done here. But apparently, we have some friends online, and they've been doing some shenanigans here in the shopping district. So I think that we're gonna have to check in with them and see what everyone's up to here on the server.
People in therapy are often there to deal with people in their lives who won't go to therapy. I have a job, it's actually quite fulfilling, though my hairline is thinning. I barely do anything else. I read self-help books, I do meditation, walks in the woods, a new destination. I sit with my feelings. Sometimes I'm even journaling. I got a full-time job, though no one pays me, and it's all thanks to you.
Well, I must say, always a total blast getting to hang out and see everybody here on the server. But as you see here, when it comes to the entire island, I've gotten around to filling in pretty much everything that I can with grass and putting down to everything with a 1 block tall grass level. I do think that if I had gone 2 grass blocks tall, it would have been a little bit too wild for the area. But as you can see, as we continue to walk through the entire area, and as everyone grooves in the NHQ, I can hear y'all. I'm gonna keep on touring around, see all the progress that this guy has been doing while everyone else is just messing around in SMH. But as you can see, our area next to the Beacon Shop and Cobb's Tornado Shop is all filled in. The guys have gotten around to paving over my paving work from the last couple of days, which is more than fine with me. I just wanted to give a base design, a base layout for this area, and I think that we've done a pretty good job in doing so. We've also filled in the entire area next to Draconis's place. We've renovated the area over next to the dye depot and the library as well. And we've even gotten around to texturing up the area next to the slime wagon and next to the pedal shop around here too. But as you can see in my hands right here, we have something very special. If I head inside, then you'll see that we have a bunch of different books with a bunch of different notes that I've made to a lot of the different people on the Lotus SMP. Now, it is officially 2025, and I've had such a blast getting to hang out with all of my friends on the server here for the last 6 months or so. As you can see here, we've done some really incredible things to this Mushroom Island, and the builds of everyone on the server are just astounding. I highly recommend you go and take a look at their channels. You can find them in the description below. But as a thank you for all of our time together, I think that I'm going to give a bunch of the guys a couple of thank you notes. Now, there's a lot of people on the SMP, so we'll probably only do 3 people per episode, but as we can see in this first book in our hands, Pug is going to be our first person that we get to thank today. So let's take out our wings, mine down the shulker box, and get to giving Pug a gift. I must say, I am so impressed by Pug's base every single time that I see it. This thing is so massive, so intimidating, so efficient, so well performing, and on top of everything, it is just astoundingly beautiful. And I love how I have a sign for when I dropped off the lapis from our last episode for our Winter Kingdom. But today, I think that we'll place down a chest so that we can place his book in here. Now, here is the note that I've written for Pug. Dear Pug, I hope that you're well, dude. The server wouldn't be the same without you. Thank you for being my friend, man. Slip. I really do genuinely think that one of my favorite things about having done YouTube and about having done an SMP is having made friends along the way. So thank you, Pug, and I can't wait to see what the rest of the year has for us. But now, as you can see, our next book that we're gonna go and deliver is off to Maddie, so let's head off to her base. Now, for the first time, we've arrived at Mild Maddie's elven-themed base, which, upon my first impressions, is just astounding. I'm sorry, Maddie, I just didn't know where your base was earlier in the server, and so I'm sorry about not having gotten to it until now. But as we can tell, Maddie has made sure to use every little bit of detail just to bring this life together. We have our beautiful panda sanctuary over here with her pandas just lounging around and enjoying the bamboo. We can see that Maddie has used lots lots of quartz in her base, which makes sense why she's been buying so much from Draconis. And then I love the diorite pillars that we have holding up this area. It's a design that maybe I'll have to use myself at some point in time. We also have this insane mansion on the other wing of the mountain, and we have a whole queue of dogs just waiting for our attention as well. Now, genuinely, I am really blown away by this entire base. I had no idea we had something this incredible popping up on the eastern side of the server, but as much as I would like to give a more detailed tour of this area, I think we'll have to ask Maddie for one at some point in time. But if you haven't checked out Maddie's channel, I don't want to take it away from her. Please go and take a look at it. And for now, we'll read the note that I made for Maddie, which says, "Dear Maddie, hey there. I wanted to write you a note and mention you are such a rock star and a fantastic builder. So glad to be your pal. Best Slip." So we can place down her chest and we'll put our book for Maddie right inside of it. But now, as we leave this incredibly beautiful kingdom, I do want to show you that we now have a book for Chespi to give him a note as well. So let us head off to the establishment of Chespi Cornelius Correcti Cash III. But actually, we have a new establishment here at the Kingdom of Lhasa that is absolutely incredible, and this was not built by me. This wonderful build is a Secret Santa present from Mild Maddie, who once again is the wonderful creator that built that elven-themed base that we just took a look at, and wow, look at this build. It is exactly on point. You have the smooth quartz and the calcite and the diorite, along with torch flowers, which is something that I've never seen in the game before, and I have always wanted to have my hands on these flowers. We also have the pitcher pods, I believe, over here with some candles nicely on some acacia trapdoors. I'm just blown away by the use of pointed dripstone blocks and some coral hanging from the ceiling as well to fit in some extra decoration. And to switch it up, Maddie actually used polished granite and some acacia, which really fits in with the aesthetic of the build as well. Not to mention the addition of these awesome amethyst crystals that we have here on the ground, along with on the wall too. As you may be able to tell, we have frog lights underneath leaves and just around in the area to give the extra lighting that this build needs as well. And she even followed the path design that I used throughout the entire SMP as well. So thank you, Maddie. Your attention to detail, honestly, is impeccable. But I think that there's only one thing left to do, and it is to head inside to a beautiful looking interior. I do think that our mob figures might be a little bit messed up on the SMP at the moment, but I am assuming that we have a couple of characters here from Lotus, and we have paintings along the side. We have some hanging signs right here, and acacia trapdoors to line up to the second floor, along with a little bit of an eating area over here with some other messed up mob figures, unfortunately. But it's noisy, it's congested, it's the exact amount of detail that I would want on the interior of any of my builds, and so if we wanted to, we could actually sit down right here and have a meal ourselves. But we'll also head on over to the second floor, which, wow, look at this. We have some custom paintings. I've never seen these guys before. And I love the fireplace design that we have right here. Oh my gosh, I could spend hours in this area. We have even more bookshelves and some item frames with paintings. And on the third floor, how many floors does this build have? This is incredible. Wow, we have another awesome looking interior area here. And then off up to the fourth floor. Maddie, you are so good at doing interiors, and I just cannot do it myself. We have a Christmas tree right here with a Secret Santa slip. There's a bunch of presents right here. The amethyst shards actually on the top is a wonderful present design too. And then more torch flowers right here. And man, I'm just feeling really grateful right now. Maddie, thank you so much. And right next to these shulker boxes, which I think is going to be my present, we have a PS. Make sure to check the bookshelves. And so we can open up. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Pitcher plants and pitcher pods and more pitcher plants. And in this one, we have torch flower seeds and torch flowers. No, way. Maddie, you have totally spoiled me. I don't even know what to say. And you're telling me that there's even more in the bookshelves as well. Okay, we can head over here. We can take out an enchanted book. And we have another enchanted book right here. Looks like right now we have Mending and Unbreaking, along with Protection 4, Silk Touch, Infinity. And for the last one, we're gonna get Fortune 3. Maddie, I genuinely don't even know what to say. I am just so happy and thankful. I really needed this today in a personal sense, so thank you for that. I really am so lucky to have such good friends here on the SMP, and if you haven't checked out Maddie's content, once again, with all of the attention to detail, everything that she's putting in here, please do consider taking a look at her channel. But as we've talked about, we still have one more build to take a look at and one more note to give. So let's take to our wings and head off back to the base of Chespi Cornelius Correcti Cash III. Oh, dude, such a silly name. I love it. Such a silly name. And last but not least, we head over to the home of Buzzy Combs and Chespi Cash III. As you can see, and as we've talked about, we have Chespi's incredible Italian little villa overlooking the seaside. And man, I gotta say, I just loved this design. I want to build like this at some point in time. And then over here, we have Buzzy Combs' incredible looking lighthouse as well, but there also seems to be a new addition to the area here. One thing that's been happening here on Lotus that we'll talk more about in the future is a mob vote to have an elected mob mayor for the SMP. And right now, the fight is between Sir Sniffington from Chespi and Margaret from Maddie. Now, I won't be going into details on who I'm going to be voting for in the future, but I did just want to take a look and check out this build. It's a really cool design, and I can't build like this, but it definitely gives that sniffer vibe. And if we head inside, we have a nice cozy little interior. But I must say, I do love how Chespi is able to use bamboo and scaffolding as windows. It's the classic B-dubs trick, but I always think that he does it really well. But I think that we'll give our note to Chespi and leave it in here, which says, "Dear Chespi, hello pal. I just wanted to say, thanks for being you and doing everything you do. Thanks for being my friend. From Slip. Genuinely, my man Chespi, I wouldn't be here on Lotus if it wasn't for you. So, thank you for being you and for doing everything that you do." But I do think that now is a perfect time to tell you that in today's episode, we're going to be building a floating island, meaning that this is going to take a whole ton of work, and also meaning that you might as well consider subscribing if you're still here. It takes a whole ton of time to make these YouTube videos for you all, and I have a goal of hitting 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. But as always, we're going to have a side project to do before we get to doing it. Or as some of you may remember, over by the Lotus Hotel over in this direction, over the last month or so, we've been working on extending a pathway over to Draconis' base. And in last week's live stream, although the replay mod cinematic ended up corrupting, we ended up starting to make ourselves a bridge over in this direction here. As you can see, I've only textured it up with stone bricks, and Draconis also came by, and he was upset with the fact that this is not totally lined up with the hole at the end of the tunnel here, which is a lot easier to see like this. And if we head into Cheaty Cam, you'll see that we also don't have any pillars leading into the ground. But meanwhile, Draconis has been hard at work preparing this area of the land over here to start making some bridges over here. So I think that it's about time for me to start to work on fixing this bridge and fitting it into the environment a little bit more. I've kind of been enjoying telling you when I've been recording these different snippets, and so right now it is December 6th. I say on Wednesday, let's make ourselves a live stream. I'll get to hang out with all of you guys, and hopefully we can make this bridge look a little bit better. Well, after 2 live streams and 2 hours on my own this morning, we can officially say that the bridge is complete. Be honest, it came out way better than I was even expecting it to. We have stones and stones and stone bricks just outlining the outer ends of the bridge. And as the sun begins to shine its beautiful light upon the arch, you can see how beautiful this area comes together. We're definitely gonna have to do something to spice up this area at a later point. We have some lanterns to light up the entire area, and some cobblestone and stone bricks along with some stone to outline the bottom of the path. But in my personal opinion, the best look that we can get at this bridge is from the side in the morning. You can see that each one of these pillars starts off a little bit wider and then shimmies on down with some stairs leading to a nice pillar with some tuff on it. I do think that the mix of stone brick, tuff, and stone go really well together, but they don't go well with cobblestone for whatever reason. I have no idea why, but when you add cobblestone, it kind of messes with the texture palette. It doesn't really mess with the colors, but definitely the texture for me, but I'd be curious if you were to experiment with it and let me know what you think. But I must say, for having built this bridge with no plan, it came out so well, and I think it might be the best freeform bridge that I've ever made. I think it's the perfect thing to connect us over to Draconis' base, where actually, if we head over to the edge and we increase our render distance, you'll see that Draconis has made his path and he is ready to go for some more bridge work over here. There really is so much potential that we could do in this entire area, and me and Draconis I think are going to get up to some good work before the end of the season, so I'm very excited to see it. But now, a couple of weeks later, with everything set up to connect ourselves to the south, it's time to head on to the main project of today's episode, which frankly, if I'm being honest, I actually don't know what I'm going to be doing. And the reason for that is because I was going to be building a floating island, and I built the build within Lightmatica in our build school creative world, where I get to play with a ton of other YouTubers and build creative builds. It's a very cool thing, and I feel very lucky to be a part of it. Here on the Lotus SMP, we are officially updated to Minecraft 1.21.4. However, unfortunately, Build School has not updated to that version yet, meaning that for the moment, I'm kind of locked out of the builds that I ended up making in that Lightmatica schematic in that world, meaning that I'm going to have to get around to doing something in my own single-player creative world. I'm not really sure what I want to build yet, but before we get to building, we're actually going to be hosting a Minecraft event here on the Lotus SMP tomorrow. Since we're now on Minecraft 1.21.4, we now have the Creaking and the Pale Forest in the game, and I think it would be fun to invite a couple of other Minecraft creators from other SMPs and play a hide and seek in the Pale Forest. The game would only happen at night, and you get a certain amount of points for if you're able to survive the night, or if you're catching people, how many people you were able to find during the night, with the winner getting a glorified video of their prowess within the hide and seek match from this guy here, Slip. So hopefully that gets to happening tomorrow. If not, we'll just get to building, but if you're still here, I really do appreciate you taking the time to take a look at these videos. I genuinely spend so much time making these videos, and it just means a lot that you take the time to appreciate them and invest yourself within the world here. But now, as the sun sets here in this beautiful world that we've made over the last 6 months or so, I say let's get back to work and make this beautiful server look even prettier. Well, it feels good to be back at the Kingdom of Lhasa. I really feel like I don't spend enough time in my own kingdom admiring all of the creations that we've made over the last 6 months or so. This kingdom is definitely the most beautiful place that I've ever made in Minecraft. I swear, I've taken every single block into account when it comes to designing the kingdom, and it really is funny to me as well that every single block as well has been taken up by a Margaret poster, because as I may have mentioned, we have an election coming up here on the Lotus SMP. But before we get into all of those shenanigans later down the line, I did want to say that I had so much fun with Jam and all of the other members of the Lotus SMP last Sunday, where we got to play Hide and Creek. It really was an event that brought everyone back together and brought some new people to the server, which is so important during these long, cold winter months. And as I've discussed, the winner of the event gets a special shout out little bit in this video, and as we've seen, the winner of this event is morg_dash_org. And so, without further ado, let's give us all a wonderful round of applause and a cool little snippet, a little shout out for our winner. Now, I'm definitely going to have to do plenty of more events just like that in the future, but I'm sure it'll come as a surprise to none of you that this guy is majorly a builder in Minecraft, and we still have plenty of more building to do in the episode. And it makes me happy to say that I think that the building that we're going to do today is going to take place in our beautiful kingdom. I'm not quite sure yet where exactly I want to put the build. I'm thinking maybe in this area over here down by the graveyard, or also we could choose this area over here by the tree felling trees. But I do know one thing for certain, and that is for today's episode, we are going to be building ourselves a villa. I think that with all of the beauty that we have in the area, many people would want to come to the kingdom just for a nice weekend away. And so why not have a high-class luxury residence for people to stay and spend some time here at Lhasa? We do still need to give homes to our 3 alpacas down there by the well. But if I'm being honest, we have done a whole ton of things in the last couple of weeks for this episode, and I think that we're going to have to wait off for another point. These Lotus episodes really do take weeks and weeks to make, so if you're still here, A, I appreciate you, and B, if you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing to it. It really does mean the world. But as the sun sets in this beautiful region that we have here in the Lotus SMP, I say let's fire up a stream, get some materials, and then, of course, get to building. As we approach our brand new villa, I can definitely say that I've cooked. It honestly is so wonderful seeing the Kingdom of Lhasa come together, because with some incredible builds and some even better block palettes, this area really has just come to life over the last 6 months or so. As you can see, we went along with our normal texturing with some iron blocks and some smooth quartz, along with an extra addition of our pale trapdoors here, which is an awesome addition to the build. We of course have our copper trapdoors, which are steadily oxidizing right here, and then we work our way up to our spruce and our terracotta, leading up to the granite and the brick. Over along the side of the path right here, you can see that we've kept the theme consistent as well, although we might not need this trapdoor. But of course, we have our 2 tall flowers to add the extra life that this area needed. And then one other thing that I wanted to mention is that it's so nice to use lecterns as an extra detail piece in your build. If you've been working with a lot of wooden pallets, although it is expensive, lecterns are definitely the way to go. I mean, the way that you go after hitting the like button, of course. But as you can see on the sign right here, we have Flam's Villa, who is a good buddy of mine and a wonderful content creator. I definitely recommend you taking a look at his channel. And we can head inside to the interior right here, where we have something really special. We have a Morg lost poster that I ended up making because, of course, Morg is the winner of our hide and seek competition. And unfortunately, we were never able to find him, so hopefully we can find him by putting a couple of wanted posters up around the server. I did kind of decide to be lazy, and although we could fit more space in with a second floor here, I just decided to do one. But our interior, of course, is nice and congested, and we have tons of item frames all over the place, along with some pale trapdoors and even some potted plants here too. And then the same applies with the sight line, and I love the color that our bookshelves are just adding to the interior. It just lights up the area. With our floor, we've been going with the same design that we've been doing with the other interiors in the kingdom as well, with some basalt and then some sort of tough brick that we have here too. But it really does match the interior well that we have with the smooth quartz and the diorite. And one thing that I completely forgot about adding is that we also have pale saplings here too, which are just a wonderful decoration block to use. We actually have one in our decorated pot right here, and so you can kind of tell what I'm going for, and there's so many different applications that you can use with this potted plant. But I must say that I'd be quite happy to spend the weekend here in this villa. It seems like such a calm little getaway serene area where you can get away from the hubbub of life in the rest of the kingdom here. And overall, just being honest with you, although this block palette is so expensive, I really just can't get over it. Ladies and gentlemen, with our villa now complete, and with this area of the kingdom even more filled in, I can say our project is done for today's episode. If you enjoyed seeing Hiding Creek, or at least seeing my perspective, and if you'd like to see me hang out with more friends, I'd definitely like to know if you have any ideas for what you would like to see in the comments below. But as you can see, over the last 6 months or so here on Lotus, we have made something really special, something that will always stick with me in my heart. But of course, the season is not over. We have plenty of more work to do, so I say, why don't we get back to material collecting, and I will see you all in about a week or so.